Remuneration. If the remuneration is given to an employer, that is employer-employee relationship, then the employee receiving the income from the employer, that is the employer is paying to the employee, that comes under income from others, income from salaries. It is employee. Non-employee means the income. If the employee is non-employee, he is not working under a specific salary, but he is given a remuneration, then it will, like, he is not giving a salary, he is given wages. So the income of remuneration of a non-employee will come under income from other sources. If a person A is working in ABC company, and he is receiving salary, so it will come in income from salary. But he went to BCD company, he was a non-employee, he was paid rupees, say 2500, but such income will not be added in income from salary, it will be part of income from other sources. So remember, such income is income from other sources. You don't club it with income from salary. Don't do this minor mistake. But such question does not come. It is a real life fact. It will help you in the real life when you do articleship, but in the exam it won't be asked. So just chill. You have to just copy it and just read it, memorize it, because it might come for 1 mark question, fill up true or false, whatever. They may ask how the remuneration process is carried out in income from other sources. So just read it. No practical sums on this. Interest income. This is very important. Many of us have a bank account. We receive interest in the bank. Whether such interest is liable to tax or not, such questions will be answered over here. There is a code for this: P square N square R. Simply remember PNR, then remember P square N square R. Fully exempt under section 10 subsection 15. Under section 10 subsection 15, P and R are fully exempt. What is this? Post office. See, I have given a sub. Post office saving bank account. Post office cumulative time deposit. Post office cash certificate. Post office fixed deposit account. Don't write because it is not a proper note. It is just a drafted note. Main notes are not yet made. P1 post office saving bank account. Exemption available up to rupees 3,500 per annum. If more than that, then such exemption is also available. If 7,000 is received as a post office saving bank account interest, then less exemption 3,500, remaining 3,500 will be taxable as per the slab rate. It will be added in the slab of the income. So post office cumulative time deposit fully exempt, whatever the amount comes. Post office cash certificate, post office fixed deposit, it is fully exempt under section what? Section 10 subsection 15. P square public provident fund. What do you understand by public provident fund? Interest earned from public provident fund, statutory provident fund are exempt under section 10 subsection 11. So please write, while writing this, public/statutory provident fund fully exempt under section 10 subsection 11. Interest, the interest income on public provident fund. Now next, N1, National Defense Gold Bond, National Saving Annuity Certificate, National Plan Certificate. If the SSC has invested in such bonds or in such certificates, the interest earned after interest on such bonds and certificates will not be liable to tax, but will be exempt under section in 10 subsection 15. So in the exam, if such questions arises while calculating the income, total income of the SSC and paying the tax, that time you don't need to ignore this. You will say, yeah, it will not come, and you will crisscross it and say, I will not show it in the calculation. You have to just write this public provident fund, then write the amount. Suppose say 10,000 less exempt, totally exempt under section 10 subsection 11, and write the amount how much we have received. Say if 10,000, then 10,000, if 15,000, then 15,000. The outer column will be 0. Just we have to show the presentation because it is the exam. we are given marks on the basis of presentation, on the basis of the knowledge we have. N2, notify bonds of local authority, public sector company, etc. If the SSC have invested in notified bonds of local authority, public sector company, etc., the interest earned from this will be not liable for the tax. It will be exempt under section 10 subsection 15. I hope I am repeating so many times. Under section 10 subsection 15, it is registering in your brain what is under section 10 subsection 15. Under section 10 subsection 15 is what? Interest income. RBI relief bond. If we have invested in RBI relief bond and if we have earned interest on RBI relief bond, then such interest is fully exempt. It will be taxable. It would be exempt under section 10 subsection 15. If other interest we have earned, then it will be fully taxable. Such interest will be coming under income from other sources. Say if we have earned interest from XYZ bank, and we are saying no interest income, I have not earned anything on it, I will not pay tax, then it is not done. You have to pay tax on it. Either you invest in this is specific in this specific in acha thing. Why these specific exemptions are given for only this many certificates, bond, bank deposit and all? Because the government wants the citizens and the residents to invest in such bank account, in such banks, certificates, time deposits and bonds, because these all bonds and certificates are government based bond, certificates and bank. They want to take away the money from the general public so that their purchasing power is low. That you have learned in economics. So that's why, to discourage the people from purchasing more and rising the inflation, to reduce the inflation, they give higher rate of interest on this. And trust me, this all post office are giving the highest rate of interest till date. Go once and check in post office the highest rate of interest that you will get on the saving deposit. I assure you, other than your bank, it will give you more percentage of interest. Just go once and see. I want you all to copy this first. Sorry, I have taught remuneration also here. Right, remuneration, there is no section for this. I hope you have copied. I hope you have copied this also. Insurance compensation. What is this insurance compensation? LIC, life insurance company. We have, if we receive the life insurance money at the maturity, at such maturity, the amount received by an SSC will not be liable to tax, because while paying the premium also we were getting deduction under section 80C. That I'll teach you, don't worry. But for time being, just listen. While paying the premium, we are getting deduction under 80C. But at the time of receiving also, the entire sum of money we are getting exemption. So this is a nice thing. So that's why general public invest in LIC. Generally every person in Mumbai or in India prefers to take an LIC because it is a tax savior. But at the time of receiving also, it is tax savior. So under what section we are getting exemption for LIC insurance compensation? Under section 10 subsection 10D. I hope you have understood this. Please copy this much. I hope you have copied. Award from central government in public interest under section 10 subsection 17A. Please remember, you have to remember all this section because these are very important. It doesn't comes for 1 mark also, but if you don't write the section, they might cut 2 marks in the income statement. Trust me, they cut 2 marks. It won't come for 1 mark also, but they will cut 2 to 3 marks. Because you will not show proper reasoning for that, why it is exempt and all, and they'll say you have not shown. Generally, see, there is a criteria that I have noticed. If you do a 10 mark sum, they have to give marks maximum 8. So if they are already cutting 2 marks, if you do one silly mistake, you only imagine how much marks they will cut. If you do this silly mistake, then the major mistake you might do more big. That means in 10 marks you might get only 2 or 3 marks. So it is better to be cautious and to remember the section. In this, all sections are very easy to remember. A. Award from central government in public interest under section 10 subsection 17A. If we receive any award like public interest awards, like if we have done any bravery, like if we have saved any any person who was swimming, who fall in a dam, and you showed your bravery and you pulled out that person from the dam when the dam was closed, or say you protected some woman from some thief, such kind of bravery award, or you have protected a huge multinational bank in India by calling the police during the time of robbery and showing your smart work. So such awards given by central government to a public in the public interest are exempt, because government is providing you an interest. The government can't ask, give me tax on that such income. So it is exempt under section 10 subsection 17A. W. Winnings and other casual incomes are fully taxable. Winnings and other casual income means lottery, gambling, card games, betting, all are fully taxable. All are fully taxable at a slab rate of 30%. Please write at a flat rate of 30%. I hope you have written awards also and winnings also. Now let's see royalty. Royalty received by any kind of royalty. Any kind of royalty received by an SSC is fully taxable. It is not an exempt, and royalty received by an SSC will be part of income from other sources, but it will be fully taxable. While solving winnings, if you remember my capital gain, that 20%, how to solve 20%, we make an arrow, we write the long term capital gain, and at the rate 20% we do, you remember? Similarly, winnings will also be done. We have to make a down arrow, write winnings, the winnings income, and on that at the rate of 30% you have to pay an SCH, and you have to pay that education cess and secondary higher education cess of 3% on this at the rate of 30%, and you have to add on it. Similarly, for long term capital gain also 20%, then add 3% on it. I hope you have done till here. Please write this much. Next lecture on the remaining sections. I hope you have copied. Yeah, I hope you have copied.